It is the 31st of December and it is the end of what has been a very busy, hectic, rather controversial year. Sports and politics were strange companions in the year 2024. The conflicts across various countries and continents spilled over to affect sporting ties and the entire sporting system in many of the countries too. So in such times, we of course need to celebrate the triumph of the human spirit and those who made this calendar year count. Who were the headliners from the year that was and who defined sport and how that shaped our year? Was it athletes like Yannick Sinner, Vinicius Jr. or Max Verstappen who battled setbacks and challenges to come out winners? And what were the biggest controversies that rocked the sporting world? All of that in our year-end special that also documents 1 year of us bringing you Sports First. It's one of those moments that the tennis world was dreading to finally face and come to terms with, Rafael Nadal's swan song on the international circuit. Now, I realize it was easier to talk about his retirement all these months with numbers and an analytical mind. When would Rafa say bye-bye? Everyone was there to celebrate what a fabulous journey this Spanish superstar had scripted and how he put tennis and Spain on the global map. Rafa seemed to have thought through his final phase with some consideration, how his last year on the circuit would really be. He was available for his fans, the people who grew up watching him play and win, who cheered for him, for whom his tennis and what he really brought onto the sport meant the world. He made sure his family was there in the last year, of course, his wife and his very cute son, Rafa Jr., who particularly made this last difficult phase of saying farewell to everything Rafa held dear easier. His son's presence, in fact, made the journey a happy one for him, of course, yes. And for us too, we enjoyed watching the antics of his smaller version on the court side. And when the emotions were getting to be a bit too much especially, he chose the platform, the moment and the match to do it in with a lot of care. In Spain, for Spain, and alongside his Spanish mates. Rafa ended the night saying all he ever wishes to leave behind, what he wished truly to be remembered for was that he was a good person hailing from a village in Mallorca. That was met with a resounding cheer. I can safely say that there will be many things that his fans and the sporting world will remember him by. The sport will only though be poorer without his raging never say die spirit on the court. Sunil Chhetri is a name synonymous with Indian football. Someone who not only became the face of football in the country, but also an icon symbolic with the rise of India as a global sporting giant. Today, the legend took the decision that is very hard for any athlete to take. Sunil Chhetri announced his retirement from international football.
I never thought individually these are the many games that I've played for the country, this is what I've done, good or bad. But now I did it. This last 1.5, 2 months, I did it. And it was very strange. I did it because probably I was going towards the decision that this next game is going to be my last. And the moment I told myself first that yes, this is the game that's going to be my last, is when I started recollecting everything. It was so strange. Started thinking about this game, this coach, that team, that member, that ground, that away match, this good game, that bad game. All my individual performances, everything came. All the flashes came.
It was a rather emotional announcement that on his social media platform, and while there have been many records that the Indian captain has broken, his biggest impact, his biggest record or contribution to the world of sport has been the inspiration he has lent to not just his peers, his juniors or kids who wanted to take up the sport, but also sports persons across the country. And so when Chhetri announced his retirement, it left many very emotional. Chhetri had that charisma. He was skilled, of course, but his childlike exuberance, his friendly demeanor made him a favorite amongst his own team and across sporting disciplines too. Well, no one is more smitten by Chhetri than the former India men's cricket captain Virat Kohli. The camaraderie the two shared is no secret. Their mutual respect, adoration and love for each other is apparent, especially when they broke the internet during that COVID pandemic Instagram live that they went on, and it was an unhindered bare-all conversation. Chhetri's decision has marked the end of an era, but he leaves behind a legacy that will be remembered for generations to come.
Uno, dos, tres. ¡Ahora Madrid!
After years of uncertainties, Mbappe's childhood dream of playing for Real Madrid took its first flight. Real Madrid unveiled the French captain in a grand ceremony. A packed Bernabeu cheered on Mbappe's coronation as the Real Madrid player. Yes, it was no less than a coronation. Liverpool beat Real Madrid 2-0 in a group stage match yesterday, ending their 15-year curse of being winless against the Spanish club. That's good. Every goal was slotted in right, and while it was a historic win for Arne Slot's men, the men in white, particularly Kylian Mbappe, had a lackluster show. Mbappe tried his best to score goals for Madrid, but his poor run only got more highlighted when he failed to convert a penalty into a goal. Some of them ought to hurt. The Spanish media, though, wasn't too far behind. Those were the fans, of course, but the media has been just as harsh. Major outlets took out the axe and tore right into Kylian Mbappe, some of them even calling him downright useless. Mbappe needs to harness that and prove that he belongs here at Real Madrid, because time is surely ticking for Mbappe on this one. Now, he may have the support of Ancelotti as of now, but for how long? Despite this setback in the Champions League, Ancelotti has assured that Real Madrid will be in the final next year. So for how long can Ancelotti demand patience and time from fans for Mbappe? Because he too may be forced to take a stern step eventually if this continues, and a step that may not really favour Mbappe. Now, they say legends are built on the back of empires, but empires, well, they're nothing if not for legends. That's the story of Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, the most successful partnerships in Formula One history. For over a decade, Lewis Hamilton was the face of Mercedes. He was the symbol of the silver dominance, shattering records with every race and shaping Formula One history one race at a time. But like all good things that must come to an end, this too did over the weekend in Abu Dhabi. It was Lewis Hamilton's last race with Mercedes, and like every dramatic farewell story that we know, it had a bittersweet start. During qualifying, he collected a bollard left by a Haas, ruining his chances of making it out of Q1 on his final run. He started the grid, in fact, on the 16th position. And after that, it's all about trying to catch up. He drove from 16th to finish in 4th place, even surpassing his teammate George Russell on the last lap. Like Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff said, it was the drive of a world champion. After that, it was time for goodbyes, doing donuts for the last time in a Mercedes car, hugging the team in the garage, and an emotional moment with Toto Wolff himself. Lewis Hamilton did it all, but the moment that really caught everyone's eye was this one, him kneeling by the car that gave him his career.
I'm proud of every race, every pole position, every win we've had together, every championship. So when I knelt next to it, I was just giving thanks. Firstly, thanking my own spirit for continuing to push, thanking everyone that powered and built that car. I'm proud of everyone.
Even as Hamilton steps away, he will still be Mercedes' greatest driver. In many ways, Lewis Hamilton is Mercedes. The factory in Brackley, the engineers in Stuttgart, the thousands working in the garage, they're all a part of his story, just as he is a part of theirs. That will never change, but at the age of nearing 40, Hamilton's story at Ferrari will be one of extremes. If he wins, it will elevate him to a pantheon reserved for sporting immortals, the only driver to conquer with 3 of Formula One's legacy teams. Now, if he fails, it won't diminish his legacy entirely, but will leave many questions unanswered, like what if he hadn't left Mercedes just then? But one thing is certain, the sight of Hamilton in a Ferrari red will be surreal, as it will be thrilling. It is the ultimate challenge that has broken many before him, but Lewis Hamilton is no stranger to gambles. After all, his first one led him to 6 world championships.